Picture a 45-degree slope. Now place a rock weighing 250 tons directly onto that incline. Gravity dictates that an object with this much mass should immediately accelerate downward. Looking at this setup, the most logical assumption is that the rock is physically anchored to the bedrock beneath it. You expect to find a deep root of stone holding it in place. But checking the base reveals something else. The contact patch where the rock meets the hill is incredibly narrow, less than 2 square feet of surface area. There is no physical attachment. If the rock is completely detached and gravity is constantly pulling its mass down the slope, why has it remained entirely stationary for centuries? The boulder sits in a state of static equilibrium that visually contradicts basic mechanics. It creates an optical tension that forces anyone looking at it to question their own understanding of physics. In the town of Mahabalipuram, this is known as Krishna's butterball. You can see the scale of the object here, looming heavily over crowds of visitors gathering entirely unbothered below it. Not everyone in history has been this relaxed. According to local records, a regional ruler concluded the rock was a lethal hazard waiting to happen, threatening the town below. He ordered it cleared from the hillside. To accomplish this, workers relied on the heavy machinery of the era. They rigged the boulder and commanded a team of working elephants to pull it down the slope. The rock did not move a single inch. The combined biological towing power of multiple elephants couldn't break its static hold. At a 45-degree angle, the coefficient of friction between two smooth granite surfaces is rarely enough to prevent a slide, especially under the lateral strain of several elephants. Since the rock didn't budge, its stability must rely on a specific internal weight distribution rather than surface-level grip. Mahabalipuram is a renowned historical site, covered in complex ancient masonry and monoliths carved directly out of the local bedrock. This environment leads to a common theory. Perhaps ancient engineers deliberately carved the sphere and transported it onto the slope as an elaborate display of balance and architectural prowess. Geologists tested this by comparing the chemical and mineral composition of the boulder to the slope beneath it. The two stones are an exact match. This means the rock was never moved. It formed exactly where it sits right now, shaped by millions of years of wind and water stripping away the softer stone around it. Confirming a natural origin actually deepens the mystery. It implies that random, unguided erosion accidentally sculpted an object perfectly weighted to defy a steep incline. But how does natural erosion carve a sphere onto a 45-degree slope without the object rolling away halfway through the process? The answer is that it didn't. When you view Krishna's butterball from the front, the curved edges suggest a perfect sphere. That is a visual deception. This 3D wireframe reveals the hidden geometry. While the front is curved, the entire back half of the boulder is sheared entirely flat. This missing mass dramatically alters how the rock carries its weight. Every object has a center of mass, the exact internal coordinate where all its weight balances perfectly. This animated marker shows the boulder's true center of mass, and the vertical line represents the precise direction gravity pulls it. Because the back is flat, the center of mass is heavily shifted backward. Watch where the gravity vector lands. It bypasses the slope completely and drops squarely into that tiny 2-square-foot contact patch. This asymmetrical geometry directs the force of gravity straight down into the support base, creating a state of balance that keeps the rock locked to the hillside. Even knowing the math, the sight of the rock still feels alarming. Why does a perfectly stable object continue to look like an imminent threat? Human spatial awareness evolved to prioritize immediate survival, not to run precise geometric calculations on the fly. This diagram shows how our brain processes the threat. When we look up, our visual cortex reads the curved silhouette facing us and automatically classifies it as a sphere. A sphere on a slope triggers a hardwired instinct to expect rolling. That produces cognitive dissonance. The physical reality of the rock is absolute stability, but the visual input we receive screams instability. This tension is the result of an evolutionary blind spot. The boulder's geometry functions as an unintentional hack of our survival instincts, forcing us to see a fall where none is occurring. Krishna's butterball has sat motionless through centuries of storms, earthquakes, and human intervention. It stands as a massive 250-ton reminder that our intuition about the physical world is highly fallible. We assume it should fall because we judge it by its outward appearance, completely missing the hidden geometry anchoring it to the Earth. This discovery prompts us to consider other phenomena we label as impossible simply because we haven't identified the hidden center of gravity that makes them function. Often, reality is far simpler and much more stable than our eyes lead us to believe.